What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks, and we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks, cause True Talks, you already know. Bruh. So you already know if you watched the previous video, and if you haven't, click that link below, watch the previous video. You already know. The previous video was definitely my breakdown on the game last night between Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi obviously making his return to Toronto, getting that ring as well, and all of that great stuff, and he did a tribute for him and all that stuff. Obviously, it was beautiful. You already know. But if we go into the game now, the Raptors are on this losing streak. They had a 3-game losing streak. And then the Raptors, they won 1 and then they lost 1. So they're on basically losing 4 games out of 5. You know what I'm saying? So that's atrocious. That's terrible. Now, there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, Lowry coming back in the rhythm and all that type of stuff. Obviously, took away from Terrence Davis and all these other players. You know what I'm saying? And probably Rondé and all that type of stuff. So obviously, the flow is a bit different. But people need to understand, when Lowry was there, like I've said before, when Lowry was there before the injury, they were winning. It's not like they were losing and then they won when he was out, then came back, they're losing again. So it's not like necessarily that Lowry is the problem. Also, you got to understand, Siakam was going to work at the same time too when they were winning. Now, if I showed y'all before, if you go look at my previous video versus the Philadelphia 76ers, you know what I'm saying? Siakam, when Siakam struggles, the Raptors are guaranteed in a tight game or going to lose. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's been happening during the last, like, those 9 games. When I'm talking about, it's not necessarily has to be a good team. It has to be a defender with length at the 4. Sometimes that means it's a good team. Sometimes that means that's even a bad team. You know what I'm saying? With a defender with length at the 4, a lot of times when he's going to struggle, most of the times, actually every time he's going to struggle. And then that's when the Raptors are in a situation where, okay, they might lose, they might win. It's close, or they most of the times lose. That type of ballpark is what they're in. And the reason for that, like I've said before, is that Pascal, when Pascal's in that situation where he has a defender on him, an elite defender, he always struggles. And his struggle is not like, you see, like Kawhi, this is the perfect game to show y'all, to prove my point, exactly what I've been trying to say. You know what I'm saying? You see Kawhi, the difference between Kawhi is he was getting double teamed the whole game, but he wasn't changing his aggression. He was still passing, but he wasn't changing. He was still trying to do moves, try and cook first and then pass, you get what I'm saying? Or chill, try and run around it, try and split through it, whatever the case is. That's what the elite players do. They still find a way to be aggressive and not let you win. Because if you just double team me and all I do is pass, I'm feeding into your game plan. That's what you want me to do. But I have to find a way to beat you even within that. There's basically a mindset and mentality where I'm not letting you win. I take the challenge. That's what it is. That mindset of I take the challenge. Oh, you want to double team me? Okay, hold this. Oh, you think you could guard me one-on-one even though you're elite defender? Okay, hold this. That mentality is something that Pascal don't have. So once he has a defender on him, he shies away. Even in this game, you seen he had Kawhi on him. No, come get the screen. I want Zubac. You know what I'm saying? And then he be's aggressive. That's the same mentality. You can't have that when you're the number 1 option. When you're the number 2 option, you could have that because the number 1 option is going to have the main defender on him and he's going to find a way to cook. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, or be aggressive. But when you're the number 2 option, obviously, you can pick and choose who you want on you, all that type of stuff, because you get it in a limited space anyways, in a limited amount. You get what I'm saying? But when you're number 1 option and they're relying on you to cook, you can't have that mentality because you're now, like, put it this way. If I'm elite the player and I have a defender on me, especially playoff time and playoff push, the other team's game plan is always saying we have to stop this guy. So they're always going to put the elite defender on you. So if I have an elite defender on me and I'm always having the mindset of, you know what, when I go on I need to get this guy off me. Let me go on the screen. Let me do this. Let me do this. Other teams, you're basically scoring based on how the other team lets you to score. You know what I'm saying? You're not creating, you're not forcing issues, you're not creating on how you want to score. They're dictating you as opposed to you dictating what happens. Obviously, while you dictate what happens, you still react to what they give you. That's always never going to change. But you're not only reacting to what they give you, because if you're only reacting to what they give you, every time you're doubled, you pass, you'll have 0 points. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is what the stars do and the superstars do, and what they do is they literally have to create and force the issue. Now, force doesn't mean it has to be a bad take. Force just means aggression. That's what that means. I have to create. You think you could guard me? I'm creating. You think you could double team me? I'm splitting. Oh, now it's a 4-on-3, kick out to the corner. So the role players are still getting open shots, you get what I'm saying? As opposed to Pascal, when he has an elite defender on him, he don't even be doing the same takes. He just be passing it. He tries to get this little situation that, you know what I mean, where at the end of the day, if I have a guy on me and it's like, you know what, An elite defender, nah, I don't want him on me. Let me get the screen. Let me go this way, go to the left, set the screen. I want to defend. I want the other guy on me. You're relying, hoping that they switch. What if they don't switch? You know what I'm saying? So what if the guy fights through the screen? Now it's like, then you just have to pass. You're just hoping they do something that's going to now make you do something. That's not the way to play basketball. That's not the way, you know what I'm saying? Now, that's a way where you could play at situations, obviously. But at the end of the day, for you to always move like that, once the defender's on you, that's terrible. And that's going to affect the team because Pascal's aggression and Pascal playing up tempo and Pascal being aggressive and being confident is part of the team's offense. You know what I'm saying? Especially this team. It's part of their team's offense. It's not like he's a half-court player where he just gets it, all I'm going to do is cook. He gets it in transition. He gets it in those situations here and there and whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, you got to look at it from this perspective. Like I've shown you in this game. Perfect example is Paul George. Paul George was 3 for 14 this game. You know what I'm saying? But was he being aggressive? He was still getting double teamed. He was still being aggressive. He was still doing his takes. He's still moving the same. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you move the same, it's gonna click on the defender's eye or the guy who's helping. Oh, geez, he's about to blow by him. Oh, geez, you know what I mean? You're still gonna sometimes get open. You're still gonna cross the guy. You're not gonna get locked up every possession. You know what I'm saying? So then that's gonna force that guy to help. So the role player in the corner is still getting the same open shot. As opposed to Pascal dribbling. It's not there. Or I want the screen for Zubas. They don't switch. Shit. Okay, here. And then now role players have to now create and do all this extra shit that they never were doing. And people don't understand. I'm looking at the main point of where the problem is. The main point is from him. He's been playing like this for a long stretch. You get what I'm saying? And him doing that now affects the team with all these other things. Lowry is just a rhythm thing. You know what I'm saying? Lowry is a rhythm thing. He's still playing the exact same way he's always played. It's not like he's doing anything different. And that's why now people are forcing a way to blame Lowry because obviously Pascal has improved. He's done this and they don't want to bash Pascal or say anything negative about Pascal. But you got to look at the trend and look at what's happening. And that's the truth. That's just the honest truth, you get what I'm saying? And that's why I've been said I knew what was going to happen before it happened. I call things out before it happens. It's just y'all recognize it later because y'all react to what you see. I see it before it happens, you get what I'm saying? I'm the Oracle. I should have been at the Oracle even though it's shut down, but I'm not shut down. You feel me? So at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I showed y'all because I could see mentality within the little things. Even when he's eating, I just could see. Especially someone who I could read the game and I could see what he's doing. I could see the little things. I know the mentality. You know what I mean? I could just see by even with the games he's snapping, I've seen different possessions in that game where a late defender now was on him. He now passed. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the mentality and that doesn't match with. Look at Kawhi, the perfect example. Like I've been telling y'all, the man was double teamed the whole game. And still found a way to be efficient and was still aggressive and was still forcing the issue. Yes, sometimes it might lead to a 1-2 turnover or whatever the case is, but I'd rather that, but it's going to happen at a small few times and the guy just always pass and let other mans create because that's the game plan. They're like, get it out of his hand, let the role players do something. Like now they have to do all this helter-skelter. Like that's what I'm trying to say, man. At the end of the day, like for that to change, that will be the biggest surprise because I've never seen that in my lifetime change. I've never seen someone with that low mentality, all of a sudden just gain a different mentality. That's just who you are. You're in the NBA. You got to the NBA doing that. You've had all these, you know what I'm saying? It's like a mentality thing is who you are. That's the makeup. That's the character of the player. If you now want to look at the efficiency and the type of shots and all that type of stuff, that's different. Obviously, you can get better within doing it. But I'm talking about mentality wise. I'm trying to show y'all, for instance, Damian Lillard, all these other guys, they first come in the game. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Hero, a rookie. All these guys, they come in the game. In those moments where it's crucial and there's pressure, their mentality, who you are is going to show up. So for instance, like Kobe was getting air balls versus Utah. You know what I mean? He was getting air balls. All these other guys have situations where they're looking anus, but they were still taking the shots. They're still being aggressive. That's when you can see in those moments, that's when the guys know mentality. The fact that in this pressure and he's never done this before and this is what he's doing, even though the result is anus, but the fact that that's his mentality. Well, that's why you see these players like that guy's going to be a problem. This guy's going to be a problem. Because the mentality's not going to change. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get stronger. He's only going to get used to that situation even more. So he's going to be more efficient, all that type of stuff. And that's what I'm talking about. Pascal is not even taking these shots. He's shying away. A person who shies away is like someone who shied and all of a sudden you expect them to be a loudmouth. It doesn't work like that. That's just your makeup. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people need to understand that. So for him to all of a sudden be like this Don in the clutch, that will be the biggest surprise that I've ever seen. I don't expect that to happen. I already know it's not going to happen, which is why I said they should have got a closer, which is why I said they should have got Melo when he was there. So mentality is like, people don't understand. It's character mentality. That's why basketball can teach you skills in real life, all that type of stuff, because the mentality, it correlates with who you are and with a character. It's the same thing in real life. Someone who has to deal with adversity in real life, you know what I'm saying? And they sometimes they could just dive into their struggle and be like, this happened to me, and they can play pity. But then there's some people be like, I'm not going to let this cap me down. I'm going to fight through. I'm going to take this challenge. I'm going to go. It's the same thing. It's your mentality. It's who you are. Same thing applies in basketball. That's what I'm trying to show people. So when it comes to the psyche of Pascal, I'm showing y'all, it's not going to change. You think, like, the fact that he's doing this in regular season before Christmas break. He's doing this in regular season before Christmas break. You expect that to now, in the more pressure situation, for him to all of a sudden thrive? Like, I just don't the logic, the IQ behind that. I just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand it. Like I've said, now when it comes to the Clippers, you know what I'm saying? The Clippers, there's a lot of things that obviously they're gonna improve on. Like, their dynamics that they got to get better with is the Paul George and Kawhi dynamics. Obviously, they're playing the same position, the 2-3, 3-4, 2-3, 3-4 situation. That's what they're playing, and they don't really have an OD playmaker. Now, you don't need an OD playmaker to play, because Kawhi was the playmaker when he was with the Raptors, which was my point. Lowry wasn't bringing up the ball, playmaking and doing all this shit like that. It was going to Kawhi in every situation that mattered. It was give it to Kawhi, I go to the corner type of stuff, and Kawhi was doing pick and roll, and he was doing all this whatever. He got doubled and he playmaked and he passed. So it's not necessarily not having a playmaker is the issue. It's the rhythm that is giving them the issue. For instance, I was explaining before about the minute rotation. Minute rotation is another thing that adds to the player's mentality. When I know I come in at this time, I come out at this time. Not only that, I know that, you know what, when I'm in the game, I'm with this player, I'm with this person. Okay, I know that I'm coming in the game. No Paul George for however certain amount of time. I'm the number one option. I'm being hella aggressive until Paul George comes back. Paul George knows, you know what I'm saying? Kawhi's not in the game. I'm being aggressive OD until he comes back to get my rhythm. So then if I'm playing off ball when Kawhi has it, I'm ready to catch and shoot, as opposed to if I'm only playing with Kawhi, all I'm doing is waiting to catch and shoot and waiting to get it when I get it. So I might not have the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's neither down the line, the finishing lineup. I might not have the rhythm, as opposed to, that's why CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard work perfect together. Because what Terry Stotts does, he plays Damian Lillard the whole 12 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Brings out CJ early, maybe 3-4 minutes in the first. He brings him out early. This is the same thing that they were doing with Clay and Steph. You know what I'm saying? He brings them out early. Damian finishes the whole game. So once CJ comes out, he's by himself. He's cooking. You know what I'm saying? He's by himself. Okay, it's all me. You know, I'm playmaking. I'm the number one option. He comes out because he plays the whole 12 minutes to start the second quarter. CJ now plays that first up to 8 minutes, 7 minutes. You know what I mean? That first 5 minutes. CJ now is having it by himself, and he's having that run. It's the same thing Chris Paul did with James Harden. It's the same thing the Westbrook and James Harden do together. It's the same. All these guys were the same thing Kyrie, LeBron was doing. That's what they always had, one in at all times. Because at the end of the day, your two superstars' rhythm is the most important priority. Everybody else will find a way to fit in, because those two guys have to be ready when it comes down to the wire. Those two guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Doc Rivers it's a weird situation for Doc, because I do understand that, especially from a coaching perspective, where I had my two guys eating last year, and we only lost to Golden State by 2 games. And my two guys coming off the bench eating. Their dynamic is such a rare dynamic. You rarely have 2 bench players eating like this together. They are perfect because one's a big, one's a guard. They eat together. They feed off each other. They mesh well, perfectly together. I don't want to break up their dynamic. So you know what? I'm not gonna put Paul George or Kawhi in while they two come in. That's why he brings both of them in at the same time. You know what I mean? He brings both of them in at the same time. So it's like, okay, you know what? I could go to work. We could do our tandem type of thing. But if you have those two in and then Paul George is still in, you know what I'm saying? It's like, does our tandem go away because Paul George is the number one, you based off talent? You know what I mean? So he doesn't want to set them off, make them go off, he wants to keep them happy. And also bench scoring is important, is a crucial thing. So he wants to keep them. They've even increased their output, because the last year Harrell was at 16. Now he's at 19. Lou Will's still at the 20. So you have 2 mans basically averaging 20 off the bench. That's 40 points off the bench. That's reckless. You know what I'm saying? They're the number 1 and 2 players off the bench in NBA. So I understand the perspective, but this is part of the reason why they're losing games, is what it comes to me. Because at the end of the day, if those 2 guys are eating, you don't win just because those 2 guys are eating. Let's be real. There's been games those 2 guys are eating and they still lose. I've been, slacking with the videos because of this. I'm figuring out this copyright situation, but I'm getting back into the groove now. Those 2 guys have been struggling. I mean, when they go to work, other guys were struggling. Kawhi was struggling. Paul George. Anytime Paul George and Kawhi struggle, they most of the times lose. So that should just tell you, okay, IQ is, you know what? They're figuring out how to play with each other, so the rhythm is off. Kawhi, when he's in, we give it to Kawhi first, which, you know what I mean, is okay. That's because he's more of the superstar than the other guy. Understood. But, you know what I'm saying? And Paul George has his game is, he can play fit off ball more better because he played with it with Westbrook, all that type of stuff. So he's not going to be too mad or whatever. He's been used to that. But once all you got to do is the same thing. Take, what's his name, out early. Take Paul George out early. Let Kawhi play the whole first quarter. That's 12 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Then, the top of the second, Paul George is in there with the Lou Will and them. You know what I'm saying? That they should never be one in that. Like, you could have Kawhi play off ball sometimes when they do their pick and roll. They'll still eat. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's still 4-man scoring on the team. Everybody else fills in. So regardless, they'll still eat. I don't think it'll change that much. Maybe Lou Will might drop from 20 to 18. You know what I mean? And then Harold drop from 19 to 17. Like, but they're still gonna eat. I'm telling y'all. Because at the end of the day, it's 4 guys scoring and everybody else fills in. That's what that's how they move. So at that time, regardless, you could have Kawhi in, and then now Kawhi's into 12 minutes. He comes out. Paul George comes in while Lou Will and them are still in, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they could play off ball. They can still play off ball. You just mix it up. Okay, Lou Will, come do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Paul George, it's your turn. You know what I mean? And he could get his rhythm. So now when Kawhi comes in and they're playing together, which is their end lineup with the Harkless at the 4, Harrell at the 5, Kawhi at the 3, Paul George at the 2, and Lou Will at the 1, then you have rhythm. And the offense will be clean. Regardless, they're going to be in games because their defense is that elite. But the offense has been the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my solution is for them. It's not so much. It's just a rhythm minutes thing. People playing with this person with this. But like, it's Paul George and Kawhi just not meshing together fully. Obviously, they're still trying to figure it out. It's not like they won't work. I already know when it matters, they're gonna click. But it's just to fast track them meshing, you need to have one of them in when the other one's not in to just eat. And that's what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's my dive into my analysis into what happened with them. Like I said, moving forward, we're still going to be doing the Clippers. We're going to be doing the Lakers. I haven't been doing the Lakers as much. They've been eating. You already know. People are like, oh, Banks, because LeBron's going to work, you're not doing them. No. It's a lot of the copyright issues. And so I've been sacrificing the copyright issues just to give you guys videos, because at the end of the day, I can't just go on a hiatus. You know what I'm saying? I still need to keep you guys tuned in. So I've just been doing Raptors priority because that's what it was last year. So I've just been doing them. The other ones, I'm still figuring it out, but it's coming up. Christmas, those Clippers and Lakers are playing. Moving forward, now we're going to be doing, all 3 of them mainly, and then everybody else kind of fits in. I'm going to be transitioning to what I'm doing today, which is the first video I do a 1-2 breakdown, and in the second video I talk about it more, and then I'm going to be doing more so of me talking. That's going to be like podcast style, where I'm going to eventually talk about topics. There's a lot of stuff happening during the league. There's Luka, there's top 5, there's this, there's all kinds of load management type of stuff. It's all kind of, 80 drop. There's so many topics happening all the time. Trades, Kevin Love trade rumors and stuff I need to talk about. I can't just wait till off season. So I'm just transitioning, just a lot of work. Taking a lot of time. So I'm definitely going to figure this out and get this thing going and get this thing flowing for y'all. You already know. Anyways, it's True Talks, because True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. You already know. I'm out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You feel me? Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'm out, man.